Mike Malone out as coach after 10 seasons. The head coach of Denver Nuggets fired today. The Shams report came out. That's crazy. Hey, welcome to Sammy Rigaud podcast, man. My name is Sammy Rigaud. This is a quickie. This is an in and out because I did not expect this to happen today. But if you're new here, go ahead and subscribe, like, talk to me in the comments. Let's keep building on our way to 10K. Yo, what happened? What happened? Mike Malone fire. What happened? 10 seasons. Whew. 10 seasons. Been going back and forth with Calvin Booth, the GM, who just got there in 2022. Stories are coming out. More stories will come out after this. Of course, we'll start getting the nitty gritty. I'm no better than you. I want to know all the gossip. I want to know the flare-ups, the fights in the offices. I want to know who took who parking spot. I want to know all of it. I want to know all of it. So I cannot wait till all of this other stuff comes out. But anyways, it's fighting with the GM Calvin Booth, who was an NBA player back in the day that I actually remember watching him. Like once you see his face, you're like, oh yeah, I remember seeing him. That's crazy to fire your coach this late into the season. You're the Denver Nuggets. Joker's probably second in MVP voting, right? You got the MVP on your, possibly the MVP on your team. You're doing well. The playoffs are around the corner. And you just fire him. I want to know what happened, man. I don't think it's just the GM and him had issues because they fired the GM. The Denver Nuggets let both of them out. They fired both of them on the same day. So I don't know. But that's crazy. Check this out though. There's a Jamaican proverb that says, "Today me, tomorrow you." And in December 27th, Mike Brown got fired, and Mike Brown got fired, and Mike Malone got on there, and he said this.
To the meeting, and the coaches said, "You hear about Mike Brown?" I said, "Why? What happened?" They said he got fired. And at first, I was really shocked and surprised. Then I caught myself. So why am I shocked and surprised? For two reasons. One, because as an NBA head coach, ultimately you're going to get the blame. When they win, it's going to go to Sabonis and Fox. When you lose, it's going to go to Mike Brown. That's the way it works. And two, who he works for. So I'm not surprised that Mike Brown got fired, because I got fired by the same person. And what really pissed me off about it was the fact that they lost last night, 5th game in a row, I believe. Tough loss, fouling a jump shooter. They had practice this morning. He does his post-game media, and he's in his car going to the airport to fly to LA, and they call him on the phone. No class, no balls. That's what I'll say about that.
Today me, tomorrow you. Right? He was so brash about that too. That's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. But you know what this says a lot about? This says a lot about the new NBA. The NBA we're in right now today is a whole and I'm a teacher, so I see it a lot, but it is a different league. Them boys were telling Mike Malone, we don't want to watch film. They were telling Mike Malone, you're too hard on us. They were telling Mike Malone, there's reports he lost the locker room. They're telling him we're tuning you out. Can you imagine that happening back in the day? Somebody telling Phil Jackson, I'm tuning you out. Pat Riley, I'm tuning you out. Van Gundy. Some of these other coaches, they're just telling, these new generation of players, they don't relate to that kind of style no more. It's a different NBA. They don't want to hear that kind of style of authority, right? These guys are multimillionaires. Everybody in the locker room's got a brand. They're not really trying to listen to somebody yell at them, call them soft, say they're cheating the game. No, they're trying to play their game, play 2K in the locker room, play a little Madden, hit up the clubs, go see their girls, they baby mamas, go to hang out with rappers. This is a new NBA, man. These young guys, they're not going to listen to these coaches just talk like that. They're not going to listen to coaches get hard on them, criticize them and stuff. No, they multi-millionaires with brands. Heck, some of them in college we're gonna start seeing that they don't want to start listening to their coaches because they're getting so much NIL money that who are you, broke boy coach, to talk to them that way? And what I think what happened to Mike Malone is, you know, you know, Joker's an MVP, right? These guys are Olympians, right? He plays for his national team. Jamal Murray plays for his national team. These guys won the championship already. At some point, you got to go from the rah 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 guy to the, you got to befriend these players a little bit, a little bit. I think players are too soft today. I think the kids' generation, this generation, is a little more soft. But if you're in that league, you're in that situation, you got to know. You got to know that's how they are and adjust to it. Mike Malone gone. And what this says a lot about the new CBA that's coming, you players have shot yourself in the foot, and now you're going to have to run because you guys have load management, right? Load management. They had to change the rules of all NBA and awards because you're not playing, right? You guys are doing the whole, I'm going to be asked for a trade after I sign my Supermax. So the Supermax was incentivizing you to stay with your team. You're saying, okay, I'll stay the Supermax. And then you're trying to force your way out. A la KD, a la Lillard. That is going to bite you in the behind. So you're low managing, you're playing with the contracts, and now you are getting together and voicing your displeasure, your discontent with coaches now. The next CBA is going to be so hard. Like, I think we're finally, and we could clip this, I think we're finally going to get to non-guaranteed contracts in the NBA. Because load management, getting a Supermax and then getting a trade, forcing coaches out because you don't like them, is going to really it has messed up the league. It's going to continue to mess up the league. In the next CBA, we're not going to have guaranteed contracts. Congratulations, NBA players, you did it. Last thing I'll say, right? Do we think now that Denver has fired the coach? There's two teams that have fired their coaches. Denver just did today. And last week, the Memphis Grizzlies fired Taylor Jenkins. Right? Do those teams have a realistic chance at winning a championship or going far? Because Joker's great. And playoff time, he locks in. He does his thing. Won that championship. Last year, they had a bad matchup against Minnesota. Minnesota was ready with those three bigs. But what happens? What happens when your new coach, who just got here, is drawing fourth quarter plays, calling actions for fourth quarter crunch times? It's going against coaches who've been coaching for years with their teams. You get that Golden State matchup. You're not out. The new guy ain't out coaching Steve Kerr. We see the example a few years ago, Miami and Boston. Boston had a way better team than Miami, but they had freaking new coach, right? And Spo out-coached him, like it was nothing. Joe Mazzulla didn't know what he was doing first playoff season, the first playoff run against Miami. They had a better team, but they couldn't do it because they got out-coached. So what's going to happen with Denver? Even if Denver has the better team, right, against some of these teams, they're going to have better matchups. But if they don't have a coach that could draw up a play and do the right thing and help them out and make things happen, put Joker in the right spot, put Murray in the right spot, and you're letting them pick and they do their thing and you're not really, can Denver still win? I think no. I think Denver just took themselves out. They're not playing for next year. They're going to go far in the playoffs, but we will watch them mess up. And it's just opening more space for the Lakers. It really might be the Lakers season, man. I feel like all the stars are lining up for JJ Redick to come out of the podcast booth, come out of ESPN, and go and get to the finals. Luka, LeBron, JJ Redick. We get to the finals. Hey, man, this is Sammy Rigaud podcast, man. I did not expect to do this today, but wanted to give it to y'all. Hey, they fired Mike Malone because he was arguing and the team quit on him, and he had issues with the GM, Calvin Booth. Listen, if you're new here, subscribe, turn your notification bell on, leave a comment. Let me know. What do you think? What do you think about this whole thing? Can Denver still do anything with no coach? God bless y'all.